Good. It's just about to kick
There we
in.
go.
There you go. We're on record.
It says it's recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just said it. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Wow. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got Connor and Harry Lambrou. Is that how you pronounce it?
It depends how you pronounce it. We've heard Lambrou, we've heard Lambro. We
Yeah,
pronounce it
yeah,
Lambrou, but yeah,
yeah.
any of the above.
But the band's Lambros, isn't it? Or
It's
Lambros.
Lambros, yeah, Lambros,
Yeah,
like
The
the
bros.
bros
of
and
course.
the surname, yeah.
And do you know that there's two brothers that ran across Australia that have also got the same name?
We've had people send them to us. Yeah, we heard the same thing, but we definitely were first. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about
of course, mate. That's it. Yeah, and
it.
probably more popular. I think that's the most important thing. So, guys, look, I'm really grateful to have you on, and this is the first video podcast that we've done, but also more importantly, the first brothers that we've had on here. So,
Oh wow.
I think we're going to have a really good chat because we've got two different perspectives. How much difference is there in age between the two of you?
I'm 30 and Connor's
Yep.
27.
Right. So pretty young
Very
still.
similar. Yeah, yeah. Two and
And
two
you,
and a half years. Yeah.
cool. And you both grew up on the northern beaches of Sydney.
That's right.
Yep.
Right, and I know that you're into music very much so as young guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. We started playing. Well, I started playing the drums at about 7 years old, and Connor started playing the guitar at 5 years old. And we've always, just jammed out together and mucked around since we were kids, and then it eventually grew into the band Lambros.
And your parents like sort of influenced you. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
bit. That our parents were not, and they're not musicians per se, but they're very, they love music. They're very much music lovers, which, they basically exposed us to a lot of different styles of music when we were young, growing up listening to everything, anything, and everything.
Mm.
And so that kind of translates into what we listen to now and what we create now as well, which is awesome.
Are you grateful for that exposure and upbringing?
Yeah, definitely.
it's kind of it's like shaped us from the bottom up, like those original that music that we were brought up with. It's still with us today. Like we've got the classic blues, or we got like that funk music that they played us, and then the soul music. So it's like the foundation, and then you build up from there, and you go into your other sort of interests and this and that. But yeah, it's definitely what
Very,
started us off, and
yeah, very
yeah,
grateful for
Mm.
them to be so supportive of us as well, like, playing our instruments and learning our instruments.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very lucky.
Yeah, and I suppose like luck is a word, but also a lot of young people don't get the chance to be able to have that sort of exposure or to be
Yeah.
able to, people like I'd say probably 8 out of 10 adults end up in a career that they don't want to be in because they haven't really been able to live authentically to what they love and
Yeah.
what they really appreciate. And if you can live from that space where you really enjoy what you're doing,
Mm.
and you're able to make a career of it, your life can be a real gift. But the majority of people don't sort of don't get there. But I believe it's never too late because there's something in every one of us which is really a gift. And if you can start to work with that frequency, then all of a sudden life becomes more of a joy than a struggle.
mm,
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
and I know both personally, like you probably had a few struggles throughout your journey, although you were doing what you loved. Can one of you like lead off with regards to that and some of the stuff that you went through that sort of challenged you?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, we face struggles even daily now. Like, doing music is a difficult industry, but you kind of touched on it as well. We both work at the same time as I doing music. Music always was a passion project of ours, but I think most musicians and artists will attest to this. It doesn't make much money unless you're at the very top of the industry.
Mm.
So, we always had to go out and work at the same time as doing our music. But I think the biggest thing that you face as an artist getting into music to begin with is like that constant rejection, I'd say, and it
Mm.
takes a hit on you mentally eventually.
mm,
But we found ourselves many times over the years asking, why, or what would have caused this, or what have we done, what are we doing wrong, or I guess along those lines, that kind of like negative self-talk sort of a thing.
Yep.
And that's been like one of the hardest things to overcome, to just, I guess, be comfortable with accepting what's happened in the world, and that some things are out of your control, and that you got to keep rolling with the punches and just continue doing what you're doing. But yeah, I think the fact that we both work and do music, as a passion is what we really want to do with all of our time. It makes us very grateful for all of the experiences and all the milestones that we reach when we're doing our music as
Mm.
well. Because there's no doubt about it. We're both electricians by trade, so we're at work running cables and stuff. And there's we often think to ourselves we'd rather be on the stage or we'd rather be in the studio, but it's one of those things that enables us to continue to play music. So yeah.
Yes. Do you think that obviously, like you love doing what you're doing, and obviously, unfortunately, the economy has got to, be supported by something which is going to give us the ability to participate in life. But do you think there'll be a time? I know you hope, but do you think there'll be a time that you'll be able to like really push into that space, or?
I mean, that is the ultimate end goal, like that is what we want to do. We want to be playing music full time, playing on the stage, just like playing for people, enjoying it. And I mean, well, I'm 30, he's 27. We're still very hopeful. Like, we've still got time.
Oh
And
yeah.
I believe like all these little steps that we've been doing, although it's very slow progress, we're moving forward. And that's the end goal. You just got to keep moving forward. You just got to keep pushing. And if you believe in something, you know, it's going to make a world of a difference that you're going to get there.
Yeah, spot on. I agree. That's an energetic frequency which you've got to stay aligned with, If
Yeah.
you're going in and out, it's tricky. But if you
Yeah.
really, genuinely focus and push your energy down that pathway, then eventually it'll start to open up. And Pete Murray's been on the podcast too, and he never cracked it till later.
Mm.
And a lot of musicians don't. But I've watched a little bit of what you do, and you guys are incredibly talented. To be
Oh,
able to
thank you.
play a didgeridoo and another instrument at the same time, I can't play a didgeridoo on its own. So, that's a skill in itself. How the hell did you come to like learning the didge and be able to play that well in the first place?
Well, the didge that we play, Dad got it from the Northern Territory, and he taught us how to play it. And we've always just loved the sound of it. It's just phenomenal. And especially when it's like got a microphone and it's plugged into like a system. Like the people think it's just a drone. The sounds that you can get out of it are just like it just shakes you. And then we always sort of knew how to play it. And then one day we thought, oh, let's try and incorporate this into our music. Like we're pretty handy. So we made a bit of a stand and set it up so that I can sort of play it with the drums. And then just like, yeah, just practice, like, trying to breathe and play the didge and play the drums at the same time. It's like like an octopus sort of a thing. But it's something that I love, and like the sound that you get out of it is just it's like nothing else. You just can't describe it.
Yeah, 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 and like having had some experiences with Indigenous strains and other Indigenous cultures, and how this wisdom just came through, for them to create instruments like this,
Mm.
but also the connectivity to be able to appreciate that instrument and what it does. And the vibrational energy that comes with that is pretty profound, So we're very lucky in this country that we're here and we're able to be exposed to these wonderful instruments
Absolutely.
and also the wisdom that comes with that. But I really believe from what I've seen with you guys, you have such a gift. But to be able to potentially bring that to the rest of the world where these sorts of instruments aren't as common, I think really necessary because as I mentioned, the drumming and the didge at the same time, and then Connor, is it Connor? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Harry.
yeah, that's right. Sorry,
Yeah.
with regards to the singing and everything and bringing it all together, it's profound. So I think it doesn't matter where you're from, whatever background, people will be able to relate to that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like we've got a European background, Greek Cypriot. Our grandparents, migrated to Australia, and it's influenced us as well. So like we're kind of influenced by music of the world a lot, as well as our own, the First Nations culture that we have here in Australia that we grew up in, and it's very special to be able to kind of fuse instruments that are essentially spiritual to cultures that mean a lot to the history of what makes up a country and what makes up their culture and what makes up a people. And like, bring it together in through music. It's a very special thing to do. And we always make a point of, understanding where our instruments come from and how they came to be, what they mean to the culture. We fuse our own culture with our music as well as, cultures and musics from all across the world. And we're constantly learning and growing as musicians in that way. I feel like it's the best way for us to like move forward and learn about music as well. But, in a way that's very like thoughtful and understanding about the instrument and its heritage as well.
Yeah, spot on. I'm be interested to get your observation with regards to the way where music's going now, but
Mm.
also like obviously since maybe the 90s, there's been a lot of influence with regards to techno and that type thing. And I was
Yeah.
interested. I was listening to a podcast with John Mellencamp, who's a really well-known artist from the 80s and 90s, and he was one of the first people to introduce a drum machine, into one of his songs, which is,
Yeah.
I think it was Jack and Diane, which is a very famous, song.
Yeah.
And he was very, very cautious and ambivalent to having that built in because he just wanted authentic stuff.
Mm.
And from
Mm.
what I can see, you guys are just doing it, pretty much raw, without having any influence. Is that right?
Yes and no. I
I,
think, yeah.
we do incorporate a lot of technology into our like live performances, I guess you'd say.
But everything's live at the same
But
time.
yeah, so Connor's got like a bazillion pedals, and he's got like a loop pedal, bass pedal, and a wah pedal, and a this and a that pedal.
Yeah.
So there's the technology there, and then I've got my own sort of drum machine that I play sounds off, but it's never pre-recorded or never
But
played to a backing track or never played to a click. Everything's sort of raw, and it is what it is.
organic.
So yeah, it's like organic, and we try and keep it as like it's a live performance. It's not a pre-recorded thing where we're singing to or like we're doing this all live, like And we find that like as musicians, like that's one of the most important things for us. You go to see a live concert, you want it to be live. So I guess we try and give the audience our best, and yeah,
It's a
just.
different, it's a different, I feel it's a different feeling, like as well, because there's so much energy that you get off an audience when you're performing. And the fact that it is live and that instruments are all played live and what we do is in the moment kind of a thing, it allows us to kind of go with the flow a little bit, which is kind of, it's an awesome thing to do when you're performing. Like you can speed things up, you can slow things down, you can stretch things out, you can make them shorter, you can add solos in, you can add hits, you can pause and you can take moments within songs and like, yeah, as Harry said, being musicians gives us the ability to be able to do that and within our sets. And I think that's just like another, not only entertainment factor, but it's just like a thing where every show is different. Everyone gets a unique experience every show that they go to.
It's like a living organism.
Yeah, yeah.
Like each show, It's got their
Yeah.
own things in it. Like, yeah, and yeah, but it's good.
Where does your creativity come from if you want to write a song? And that does it just sort of come like, I don't know, it might be through meditation or it might be through various, things that you do, which you can get into creative flow and then start to work with that. How's that sort of happen for you?
It does depend on the song. I'm the main lyricist, so I'll pen most of the lyrics down. For me personally, to be honest with you, a lot of it is linked to mental health because I write often based on how I'm feeling. And, when I'm feeling down or whether you're going through something or whatever, whatever stage you're going through in your particular life at that time, it's very cathartic. And I think a lot of artists and a lot of lyricists and writers will say the same thing. A lot of songs come from a very, very personal place when they start. And it's almost like you're getting your thoughts out and journaling or diarying them. And like you say, often it is meditative and it is very cathartic to be able to put things down and write things out how you feel them. And then, once you start underpinning that with music, then it starts to form something else. And, so that process, in particular for, the most recent song that we've come out with, I kind of sat down in a room, I was feeling a certain way about things that were happening in my life at the time. And I started writing things down and writing how I was feeling kind of a thing. And then we we just started with this like kind of rhythm, and that was all it was. And then the song just developed from that with chords and stuff like that. But I generally will come up with that kind of very small seed of an idea and then present it to Harry. Then we'll discuss, the meaning of the song, what it means to us, and how we can kind of incorporate it into the music. We discussed how we want it to sound, and then we just sort of fleshed it out from there and worked on it. But the process does change, from song to
Yeah,
song.
different song to song. Sometimes it'll be like just rhythm based or groove based, or like, we're just jamming, we're just mucking around in the band room, and then, oh, that sounds cool.
Mm.
Oh,
Way you go.
let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, and then all of a sudden you got like a demo for a song. You're like, oh, that's cool. And then let's release it. Let's do it.
I
Right.
think some
Yeah.
of the most profound songs, and I'm not a musician by any means, but it's all come from emotion.
Yes.
So it's been something, and then that's been penned, and it's turned into something.
Yeah.
So for the average person listening to this, whether they're interested in music or not, getting things out of their head onto paper and writing stuff down shifts the energy, because it's really, emotion is energy in motion, isn't it? And
Totally.
if it stays stuck in you, it doesn't do any good. If you write it down or speak it out,
Yeah.
is really important. But it gets back to really the core of why we do this work as a charity, because it helps people like learn to express their emotions rather than suppress them. And really, suppressing our emotions has been normalized.
Yeah.
In this country, it's like we haven't been like creative, we haven't been taught to be expressive in many ways.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
the education system's probably shut down a lot of that in a lot of us.
Yes.
And we do have a gift within all of us, I guess, to be able to be expressive. But
Yeah.
whether you're happy to do it verbally or write it down like you're doing, it just helps move things on. And I think that's you've been able to identify that, without probably even knowing the benefits of what it's doing to you personally, but the creativity that comes alongside of that's been able to help you create some wonderful stuff.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's honestly sometimes Harry and I just playing together because we have such a close relationship as brothers as well. Sometimes just like going into the band room and like just playing music together, it puts us in a state of mind. It's like a reset for us, That's like our meditation.
On off switch.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't think. It's like one of those things. It's our meditation.
yeah. Honestly, yeah,
Yeah. What it is, when we get into, like, I teach a bit of meditation, but you're having a direct experience, and that is like your mind's not anywhere else.
No.
Like you're having you're focused and you're having a direct experience with what you're doing. And the average person in modern society, our mind is just scattered all the time.
Yep.
So be able to sort of identify, I'm doing this, and this is how I feel in this moment, and being really connected and committed is wonderful. Because when we're driving in traffic or we're doing various things, our minds are everywhere.
yeah,
So you're having a direct experience, which is giving that meditative state, which is really getting into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is a very healthy thing to do, this is what we need to start, to help people understand and teach, because whether you're doing that through expression like you're doing, or meditation or whatever, it gets things back into balance rather than in chaos all the time, which I think is really key. And also, I believe a lot of musos are whole brain thinkers. So you're using various parts of your body. If you're drumming or whatever, and you're doing all these different things, you're actually activating a lot of your brain.
yeah,
Whereas most of us have only got a small percentage of our brain working, a lot of the time. So the skills that you've been able to develop, just through joy, has been able to help you gain and maintain good mental health. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. You
100%.
said it spot on. 100%. That's exactly it. We feel more balanced when we're playing music. And the fact that we do it, as more of a career, more professional thing, it's a byproduct, but the where it starts from is us getting joy from that experience, like playing it. And so, for everyone else, you don't have to be a professional musician to get the benefits of playing music and of experiencing that, like that flow state and that joy and that reset, that you get when you play music. Like pick up a guitar, pick up a drum kit, pick up an instrument and start playing it because I guarantee you, you get stuck in that, that mindset and then you can release a little bit and you feel a bit reset and you feel a bit more, loose and a bit more like you're stuck in that kind of a rat race mentality that we all do. We all get caught up in that every day. Like it happens.
When you're at work and you're pulling cables,
Yeah.
it's not what you love doing. Do you find that your mind wanders off then? Like you think about negative stuff and things you could have done better and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. We actually come from a generational electrical family as well. So like, we actually are quite passionate about doing electrical work as well. I know if that sounds funny, but
Yeah.
it's not as creative as doing music. And so,
Yeah.
there are days when you just, exactly like you said, just pulling cables and your mind wanders and you're thinking about other stuff, and mostly music for me.
Imagine if I was on, the big stage or
Yeah, that's
right
it.
now. I prefer, or under the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Going
know.
somewhere else. But isn't it
Yeah.
interesting? Like, yeah, the mind, unless you train the mind a certain way, it'll take you into the past or the future and that really quickly, Having the ability to stabilize and that and regulate it's really key. So I think you've actually subconsciously developed those skills through what you do and what you love. If you can
Mm.
transfer that into pulling a cable and enjoying that and being more present,
Yeah.
it's an important thing, and that's sort of what we need more people to do is to take a bit of curiosity into their life and take a bit of responsibility. Okay, I need to get back on track again.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So what I'm really curious to know, because as I said, I've been only recently exposed to your work, but what are some of the most profound experiences in that you've had with regards to audiences and some of the feedback and so forth that you've got?
Well, one of the biggest gigs we did was Blues Fest Byron Bay, and that was like, so it was just after COVID, and
The festival had been
the
cancelled three
festival
times.
was cancelled 3 times.
Was it the first time we drove?
Yeah, so it was cancelled, and then we drove up to Byron Bay, and that was the festival that they cancelled the day before. So we're there at the festival, looking at these massive tents and speakers and seats, and we're like, "Oh my God! Like, what has just happened?"
Yeah.
And that was like just the most insane experience. And then the year after, when we did eventually play, everyone was just in this like mood to enjoy themselves, enjoy live music, just be in the moment, like after being stuck inside for all this time. And
Mm.
that was just, yeah, one of the craziest experiences. And playing to this tent with like full of people, I don't know how many thousands of people were in there. That was just crazy. And yeah, we'll never forget it.
Isn't it incredible when we get things taken away from us, how when we get an opportunity to experience it again, how much joyful it actually makes us feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And a lot of us in life take a lot of things for granted, don't we? But yeah, to be able to sort of like stop and sort of think, shit, I'm able to do what I love to do, or
Yeah.
I'm able to live another day, which a lot of people don't get that chance, or they're sick, or they got disabilities and that sort of thing. So we find ourselves getting caught in the negative really easily, but being
Mm.
grateful to be able to have those experiences is terrific. So maybe if you had played the first or the second time you got cancer, you wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, and the
Yeah.
experience wouldn't have been as good. So yeah, it's wonderful. But I've always wondered what it's like to play in front of an audience and see everyone happy, and what that makes you feel like. Because it'd be,
Oh, it's like you're on cloud nine. It's literally one of the best experiences. You're there playing your music and you see people like dancing and jumping along and just enjoying themselves like it's like you're making everyone else happy, but you're making yourself happy at the same time because everyone else is happy. It's
Mm,
really weird, but it's really special, and that's why I love performing live and just seeing the reactions and the emotions come out from different people and um seeing what sort of they connect to like song wise. Some people will like these songs, some people will like those songs. So it's individual and it's just a really special thing to connect with someone you don't even know.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very much like an emotional experience, and like yeah, even speaking to people after the shows and hearing what they have to say about our music and what they're connected to. Like Harry said, our music is very wide, as far and very eclectic as far as genres are concerned. Like our sets will run from very intimate and kind of folky singer-songwriter style songs all the way through to like almost metal, heavy metal and like rock and everything
Mm.
else in between. So there really is kind of it's like a journey. Like when we play our live shows, just because what we write is very much what we feel, and so having gone through life and made music for many years now, it's kind of like a bit of a reflection of where we are, where we've been when we play our shows. And I think it's really interesting because a lot of people will connect to certain types of music or certain songs, depending on where they are with their lives as well.
Right
Um,
on.
and so when we, do intros to songs and explain a little bit what they're about, or even when we don't, and we just, jump into something and someone can listen to the lyrics, that kind of connection that you're forming with an audience when you're performing live, sometimes we're not aware of it, but it's definitely very profound. And like from a
Mhm.
live music watcher's perspective, we've been to many gigs where we've been very moved about what's going on stage, and they don't even know, the artists don't even
Mm.
realize what effect they've made on other people. So when people come up and talk to us after shows and explain, how much it affected them or how much they enjoyed the set, or they want to tell other people or whatever how they support us, it really means a lot. We really do. We don't take it lightly. How much of an effect playing live music can have on people, and yeah, so we're very grateful for that.
How do you wind down after a show? Now, I know other musos I've spoken to and that it can be a real trap because you can be just in this hyper state and you go get smashed. And all of a sudden, the next day you wake up and you think, what the fuck happened? Or I just, yeah, it's sort of, I'm sure you've been down that path possibly too, but what's it like for you now?
We're pretty. I'd say like it's a lot to do with who you have around you is kind of like what happens after the show, I think. So if we've got a crew with us, like family and friends, we always have a bit of a celebration. But we're very lucky. We've got a very good group of people, and a good group of family and very close and friends that will come to our gigs, and it's almost like a catch up after the gig happens as well, because
Mm,
they keep us grounded as well. And it's really good to have that kind of familiarity with people after your set. You jump off stage and you just enjoy the moment. You're
mm,
right; it is an absolute high. It is an incredible high after coming off a gig and playing, a really good gig. And I think speak to the audience after, and then hanging out with friends after. We try and keep it pretty chill. We're pretty boring, I'd say, in the scheme of things, but I think it's a good thing as
that's
far as
good.
longevity is concerned.
Yeah.
We just try and enjoy the moment, but not go too crazy at the same time.
You're probably very lucky that, like, if you had been doing this 30 years ago,
Mm,
there's no literacy around mental health. It's just like you're amped up and you want to stay in that high forever. And I'm sure a lot
yeah,
of musicians have fallen in the trap of doing that, famous and not famous. We know
yeah,
a lot about the famous ones, which have just gone on benders and
yeah,
this, that, the other. But to have the awareness that you've got, at 30 and 27 is pretty good. And yeah, you want to enjoy the experience and be able to share that with others and that too. But it's no different than a guy that's knocking off work and they're in a mood, and whether that be positive or negative, and how they deal with that. But the
yeah,
key message, the key word that you use there is being grounded.
yeah,
Because when we're not grounded, we say things we shouldn't have said, or we do something we shouldn't have done, or we go
yeah,
and do something we regret. And
yeah,
I just think we're in such a world which is very ungrounded.
yeah,
To be able to have the awareness about, okay, this is how I'm feeling now. I need to get myself back to a level again. Is,
yeah.
uh, is really
Yeah.
important.
It's interesting because we talk about how you're on such a high after gigs. We've played gigs where we've been absolute on lows, like the complete opposite, where the gig's not gone how we wanted it to go because
Mm,
whether there was sound issues or whether the turnout wasn't good, or whether maybe we didn't play as well as we wanted to. We're always our own harshest critics when it comes to our music,
mm,
and I know a lot of other artists are the same. But it goes both ways. Like having people that you care about and that can ground you as well after a set when you're not mentally in a stable state is very beneficial. So I'd say
mm,
like yeah, the biggest beneficiary to us coming off the high or the low is to have people around us that can help us to kind of stay grounded and stay in the moment and move forward regardless of what happens.
mm. Another thing that you touched on there, which is really important, is expectations.
Mm.
Sometimes we expect things to go fucking perfectly, and then shit happens,
Yeah.
and that's how we deal with that. Is also another key part to manage our well-being better, because if you have a negative experience, that can fucking snowball, and
Yeah.
that shit can roll downhill for days. But
Yeah.
if you just accept it, and hopefully do the best with what you've got, can make a big difference. Because I'm sure there's fuck ups that happen all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time. All the time. Never ending. I think like once a show, like it won't be a big thing, but like him and I know like
We'll look at each other when
uh,
something it's not
oh
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Most people probably wouldn't even realize, but we're so harsh on ourselves.
yeah,
We're such perfectionists when it comes to like music because we've been
I
playing
can
for so
imagine.
long.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. You kind of learn
You
to
just you
forgive
just you
yourself.
just push through. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But also from a consumer's point of view, if I went to see God, the Rolling Stones, for example, which they're still playing and they're in their 80s, so there's a lot of
yeah,
time for you guys. But really, like if I went to see them, and I'd expect to see a wonderful fucking show. I paid 300
yeah,
bucks a ticket, but
yeah,
there's a fair chance that there could be fuck ups along the way. But people leave disappointed. But if you just accept it, as it is, then that's a big step in our own evolution, because expectation can lead us to a lot of negative experiences within our own lives too, because that energy goes somewhere. And you
yeah,
talked about emotion before, that emotion can just roll downhill. And we talked
yeah,
about, moving those emotions on proactively. And yeah, so we've got the ability to learn a lot from one another, with regards to the way we approach life and the way we handle rejection and
yeah,
the way we handle, difficult and challenging situations, because the typical way that we've been taught is to get angry and frustrated. But at the same time, you need to be able to accept and work with what you've been given, I guess, in many ways. So,
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think even being in the creative industry, another aspect of that like rejection is social media, which is a necessary evil, or we like to think of it like that anyway. We don't,
yeah.
to be honest with you, personally, we probably wouldn't be on any socials ourselves in our own lives if it weren't for our music. We
Mm,
feel kind of, we have to do that because that's just what the industry requires of you as an artist
mm,
nowadays. But at the same time, you can put a lot of effort into that and see no reward. And so that's another slide of rejection that musicians and artists will face daily.
yes.
Putting a lot of effort into something like that and not really getting the reward and wondering why. And so,
Mm,
in a weird way, feeling those emotions about like social media and all that kind of stuff, it kind of helps you to continue to move forward as well.
yeah.
And take the hits and just keep rolling on with it. Not taking it too to heart. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think being in the music industry or being in any arts industry, like whether it be acting or I don't know, like creative art, like painting or anything, like really, you just face rejection constantly every day, and that whole idea of expectation, what you're expecting. I think Harry and I have gotten to the point where we just hope for the best, expect the worst kind of a thing, and then when the wins come around, we celebrate and we're happy for that kind of a thing. But at the same time, like Harry said, our main goal is to continue to move forward. However small the step is, we want to just continue moving forward. And I think we can confidently say to each other that's what we've been doing from the beginning until now. Always taking a step forward. No matter how small it is.
Yeah, amazing, mate. If you look at your life in quarters, 25 years, 50 years, 75 years, you've just gone through the first quarter.
Mm,
And, the second quarter is going to be pretty amazing, particularly if you're doing what you love and you're
mm.
pushing down that pathway. So I think the best for you guys is yet to come, as I mentioned. But I'd like to just touch on now where you're at, what you got going on, tours, new stuff, and how people can connect with you and that type of thing as well.
Socials.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we've got all the socials, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all that. And then we're doing a little tour for
yeah. To celebrate a new
a
song.
new song, You Won't Call. So that's out now. We
Yeah.
recorded a video clip for it, which was really cool, like a bit of a home style video in our grandmother's house and our local national park. There's a couple cool shots in there. But yeah, so just check on the socials. We've got all the dates for the tour. but we're playing at Wollongong, Merimbula,
A few shows in Sydney. We kicked off
Sydney.
last Saturday, the tour.
Yep.
So we're onto it, and I think a lot of people asked us because this is a New South Wales tour for the single release, but we're definitely coming around Australia once this single is part of an EP that's coming out later this year. So once the EP drops, then yeah, we'll be hitting all over the country hopefully, and visiting all of these people that would love to see us live.
Amazing, mate. I'm in Victoria, so I can't wait to catch up with you down here.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
our mutual friend Jack Pierce is down here, so I'm sure he'll open up a lot of doors for you as well.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Is there anything you'd like to leave the listeners with from the chat?
Oh, look, I think enjoy music and keep listening to it. That's what keeps us going too. If you've taken an interest to what we've talked about today, definitely check us out and let us know what you think. Send us a message. We love hearing from people and we love talking to people about mental health, about music, about anything, honestly. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you and thank you very much for having us. Really appreciate your time.
Keep on pushing. That's
Yeah,
it.
keep going.
Exactly, mate. Just keep doing what you love, and that's the most important thing. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Appreciate your time, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
very much
you.
for having us.
And don't forget to follow the Outback Mind Foundation on socials as well.
Absolutely.
Definitely.